Get up, we'll win. Reactivate your finances, your health. Are you ready to get your life? Well, this is your moment. Ready to get your life back on track? Get up. What are you doing? It's your time to reactivate.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Good evening. I'm so glad to have you on here on Mondays with me at Reactivate the Moment. I'm your boy, Marques Ford, and tonight we got a special message for you. Tonight, I have a special message dedicated and tailor-made for you. Listen, before I get started, I'll thank you all for tuning in. I want to also welcome you to you can email me at reactivatethemoment@gmail.com. You can have, if you have any questions, any comments, anything you would like advice on, anything you would like to talk about, you can email me at reactivatethemoment@gmail.com, and I promise you I will respond to you, and we will go further, and I will talk about everything that you guys want to talk about. All right. So with that being said, let's get started with tonight's show. I have a special message for you, and it simply says this: sometimes you have to lose who you were to find out who you are. Let me say it one more time. You have to lose who you were to find out who you are. A lot of times we go through life just thinking that things happen to us by happenstance. Things happen to us because life is meant to be that way. Sometimes life is meant to be hard. Sometimes life is meant to be good. Sometimes life is just meant to be all right. But in either way, whether it's hard, good, or in between, we have to keep pushing. But through our pushing and through our moving forward and through our we end up getting to a place where we feel like that who we once were is satisfactory enough to where we're going. We feel like that the things that we used to do, since it brought us this far, since it got us to the place where we are now, it's satisfactory to where we're going. We feel like that the places that we used to go are cool because if we made it, and if we made it out, and if we still go to these places, then okay, I'm good to go. But I come to let you know tonight that who you once were, where you used to be, and the things you used to do, they can't push you to where you're going. They can't get you to where you need to be. They can't even produce the things that they need to produce for you to be who you are meant to be. We get complacent, we get downtrodden, we get so used to being used to the things that we do, that it ends up putting us in a place to where we're codependent. We're dependent on those things. We're dependent on those people. We're dependent on those circumstances. We're even dependent on the people on those people that have been with us from the womb to the tomb. They've been our ace boom coon and been our A1 since day one. We get dependent on them. But in all actuality, those are things that we're used to do. Those are things that we used to do. Those are places that we used to go. Those are things that we used to say. You can't go forward to your future. You can't go forward to your destiny. You can't go forward and achieve any goal with the same mindset you had when you were back in high school, with the same mindset that you had when you were in elementary school, with the same mindset that you had when you were growing up as a kid. You cannot have that childlike thinking. You cannot have that mindset if you're meant to be greater and better than you once were. If you're meant to be greater and more powerful than you once were, you can't be in that place, because guess what? You're not in that same place. If you look at how you grow up, if you look at how you matured, if you look at how there are certain things you used to say back then that you don't say no more. There have been times where, I know I'm not the only one, there have been times where you've wanted to cuss somebody out. There have been times where if they said the wrong thing to you, if they came at you the wrong way, if they came at you out of pocket, back then you would have knocked them out. Back then you probably would have cussed them out. But now, when you've got to a place now where you mature, where your talk has got to be different. That's right, Empress. Where your walk has got to be different. Where your thinking has got to be different. You have to be able to change who you were in order for you to become who you're meant to be. You can't go into what you're meant to be living off what you used to be. I'm gonna say it again. You can't go into where you're meant to be if you're still living off what you're. because what you are used to doing, and who you're used to being, it was good back then. It was good for you in that moment. It was good for you in that time. It was good for you in that situation. But that situation, not only has it changed, but you have changed. If you've noticed along this journey called life, along this walk called living, you've changed in aspects you didn't even realize. You've changed in the way that you walk. You've changed in the way that you talk. You've changed in the way that in the way that you're different. It's not just your physicality that has changed. It's not just the way you dress has changed. It's you. You have changed your mindset, your thinking. If you think back, I know a lot of us go back into the day, and we go back to the things we used to do, and we reflect. I know I do it often. I reflect often, especially with my children and with the students I used to teach. I would reflect often on how the difference of me growing up between compared to them growing up, and how back then we didn't really have internet access. We didn't have cell phones. I remember when I cell phone, I snuck and found a prepaid phone, and I would spend my little money to go to the gas station and get a little prepaid card to put the code in order to reach out and touch somebody with my cell phone. And then when I got a little older and I got to college, I didn't get my first cell phone until 2001 when I got to college, and I had this big gigantic flip phone. And I remember when I would talk during the day, and back then you had certain minutes. You only had a certain amount of minutes you can use before 7 o'clock or before 9 o'clock, depending on what your bill was. Remember, you had that time where you reflect and would say, "Hey, let me call you back. You ain't wasting on my daytime minutes." You remember when you would send a text message and you only could use a certain amount of characters. You remember when people would call, you wouldn't answer the phone, and you knew that you would give them a code and say, "Hey, if it rang one time and I hang up, that means call me after 9 o'clock." You see, there's a difference now. Now you can FaceTime. Now you have Apple Watches. Now you have access to things that you didn't have access to before. But it all is all a part of growth. It's all a part of the time change. And what you have to realize is that the time that you used to spend doing those things, the time that you used to spend thinking that way, it has altered not only your mind, but it has altered your way of living. And not only has it altered your way of living, but it has created a path, and to alter your path rather towards your future, because who you once were is not going to get you there. What you used to do is not going to get you there. You have to change who you are to become a better you. You have to change what you do to become a better you. You have to change how you think to become a better you. But every now and again, we get desperate. Every now and again, we get desperate. Every now and again, we get to this place in our life where it feels like we have to do certain things in order to meet a certain criteria. We have to be a certain way in order to meet the criteria or the requirement of what's ahead of us. Because if you think about when you're in college, when you were in college, you knew you had a requirement in order to get to the major part of your course, in order to get to the graduation. Towards your graduation, your classes had to meet a certain requirement. You had to have a certain GPA, or you had to have a certain class to be that you've taken before you took the next course. And that's just how life is. In order for us to get to the next step in our life, in order for us to get to the next phase in our life, we have to meet certain requirements. We have to meet certain criteria. That means your life has got to change. That means your mind has got to change. Sometimes you have to lose your mind in order for you to change your mind. I'm gonna say that one more time. Sometimes life will cause you to lose your mind in order for you to change your mind. And what am I saying? What I'm saying is that every now and again, you have to get to a place where you say, "What in the world am I doing here? I know it seems like this can be good for me. I know it seems like this can be crazy. I know it seems to be confusing. It's confusing, and it seems to be and I'm having an attack." But you're not having an anxiety attack. You're having an identity crisis because you don't know who you are. You're stuck in the situation you're in because you don't know who you are. You keep having debt after debt because you don't know who you are. You keep having bad relationships because you don't know who you are. You keep having failed friendships because you don't know who you are. You don't know how to navigate between this one and that one because you haven't realized who you are. You haven't realized your true identity. And it's all because you are stuck in the mindset of who you once were. And you can't get forward. You can't change your thinking. You can't change your way of life. You can't change the way you walk. You can't even change the way you talk until you get to a place where you say, I got to lose my mind. Meaning, when the way I think, I have to lose certain things in my mind. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that you have to lose the friends that you have. You have to figure out who it is that's not meant for you and tell them to be gone. You have to figure out where it is that you used to go and say, I can't go there no more. You have to figure out how you used to think, your attitude, your frustration, your anxiety, your confusion, those things. You have to those them out of your life so that you can get to a place where you can say, hey, I'm not losing my mind, but I'm losing my focus, because my focus is all thrown off, because I'm still worried about how people look at me now because of what I used to do. I'm still worried about how people feel about me now because who I used to hang around. I'm still worried about how people look at me now because of how I live my life now. I'm still worried about how people are watching me because they watch every post that I make. Yeah, they're watching you on Facebook. Yeah, they're watching you on Instagram. Yeah, they may not be your friends, but I promise you they're watching your stories. I promise you they're watching your posts. I promise you they're watching every move you make. They're following you on TikTok because they want to see how in the world it is that you're moving the way you're moving when they know who you used to be. How in the world is it that you're being this new person, you found this new leash on life when they knew how downtrodden you were? How in the world can they keep smiling when they know that you used to do this from the window to the wall? How in the world can you still hold your head up high when you've lost your job? How in the world can you still have your chest stuck out when they know when they know that you're living paycheck to paycheck? How in the world? Because you have gotten to a place where you've changed your way of life and you changed your way of thinking, and you realize that you had to lose who you were in order to get to where you were meant to be, because you saw where you were going. You saw losing your mind, but not only did you lose your mind, but you losing your mind caused you to change your way of life. It caused you to change your way of thinking. So it's okay to go crazy every now and again. It's okay for people to speculate. It's okay for people to think and ponder and wonder what it is that you're doing. It's okay. Matter of fact, let them wonder. Let them think. Keep posting when something good happens to you. Keep posting every promotion you get. Keep posting every new car you get. Keep posting every suburban area you live in. Keep posting the new raise you got. Keep posting the new marriage. Keep posting the new relationship. Keep posting how you've been blocking and getting people life. Keep posting everything that you do, because you posting it is not only letting them know what's going on, but it's keeping you abreast and keeping you focused and letting you know that, hey, if I can do this now, wait till what happens to me next year. If you see me now, wait till what you see happens to me 5 years ago. I like my brother Mike Jones. My brother Mike Jones said it, but he said back then, because they didn't want you back then. They didn't agree what you were doing back then. They didn't like how you were living back then. They didn't like how you were going around back then. They didn't like how you were carrying yourself back then, because they thought that you weren't going to make it. They thought that you weren't going to see it through. They thought that you weren't going to keep pushing. But my brother Mike Jones said it best. Back then, they didn't want you. But now that you hot, guess what? They all want you. They can't seem to leave you alone. They can't seem to keep sending you friend requests. They can't seem to not look at your story. It seems like they keep looking at your story every day. They're looking at their phone, waiting on you to post something. They're looking at your phone, waiting on you to go live. They're looking at your phone, waiting on you to see what you're going to do next. But guess what? You showing them that, hey, you didn't have to like me then, but you have to realize and respect. Like my man Birdman said, put some respect on my name. All three of y'all, all the 100 of y'all, put some respect on my name. And what I want to talk about after this commercial break, I want to talk about how we got to get desperate, because desperation is a key component to us moving forward after this commercial break.
Hey, it's your girl, A Love. Make sure you follow me and Pastor PG, LaShonda Robinson, on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Girl Let's Talk. And let me tell you, it's not your typical church conversation. Make sure you join us on the WIN Network.
Listen. I need you to drop in the comment section right now. Put some respect on my name. Put some respect on my name. You have to respect me. You have to respect my moves. Even though you don't see me moving, just know that I'm moving because I'm making silent moves. Like my sister Shaq, I'm moving in silent. My silent whispers are making powerful moves. My silent talks are making major moves. So you gotta put some respect on my name. You don't have to like me, but you will respect me. You don't have to appreciate me, but you will respect me. You don't have to follow everything that I do, but you will respect me. And what happens, we end up getting to a place where we're letting people know what it is that we're doing, and we're letting people know that we're not only forgetting who we were, we're not worried about who we were, but we're pressing forward and we're moving forward to our goals. But I want to talk about desperation, because every now and again, a lot of us get desperate. We get desperate when things aren't happening the way they should. We get desperate. We start doing things that we shouldn't. We start reverting back. We start reverting back to who we were and making moves that we shouldn't. We start reverting back to who we once were and having a thought pattern that we shouldn't. But I want to remind you tonight to not let your desperation cause you to revisit an expired season. Listen to me clearly. Do not let your desperation, do not let the things that's happening now that causes you to be desperate and to make certain moves and do certain things that would change the trajectory of where you're going. It would change the lane and where you're going. Don't make certain desperation moves, because what happened is you will end up revisiting an expired season. You will end up revisiting a season that was already closed. You would end up revisiting a door that was already closed. You would end up revisiting a situation that was already taken care of. You would end up revisiting a circumstance that you already prayed your way out of, that you already walked out of, that you already were healed from. And what we end up doing is we end up ripping the Band-Aid off of the wound that's trying to be healed. You have to keep the wound closed in order for healing to happen. You have to keep your wound closed in order for things to progress towards your healing. But some of us, we get desperate because we think that just because we need a man or we need a woman, we think that just because we see people in relationships and we want to be like them, we want to have what they have, we end up ripping the Band-Aid off of our wounded heart and our wounded spirit, and we end up letting the next person come in even more because we are making desperation moves. Don't let desperation moves destroy your destiny. I'm gonna say it again. Do not let desperation moves destroy your destiny. I need somebody to put that in the comment section. Don't let desperation moves destroy my destiny, because my destiny is too important. You have to think about your destiny before you even think about your situation. You have to think about where you're going before you even leave the house. Before I leave my house on a daily basis, if I don't know where I'm going, or even if I do know where I'm going, I have to think about the traffic that's ahead. Sometimes you have to time your route. You have to plan your route to consider the traffic or to consider the weather. So you have to think about how long it's going to take you to get there. You have to think about what routes you want to take to get there. So in other words, what I'm saying is, before you move forward, before you take another step, I need for you to think about what's in front of you. I need for you to think about the obstacles that may or may not be there. I need for you to think about the end result that's waiting on you. What you have to do, you have to travel the road that's ahead of you. And in that road that's ahead of you, there will be frustrating points. There will be points where you want to quit. There will be places on that route where you want to turn back around. There will be places in that route where you want to take a detour and go somewhere else. There will be places in your route where you will get distracted. And I need for you to realize and understand that just because you get distracted, just because you want to give up, just because you get frustrated, just because you get confused, just because you don't know what's going to happen before you get there, I need you to realize and understand me tonight. I need you to realize that you don't need to make a desperation move, because what happens is your desperation moves causes you to make decisions off of emotion. It causes you to make decisions because what you think is right, because what you think may be good. But if you realize where you're headed, if you realize and understood where you were going, if you realize and understood what is ahead of you and what's in front of you, then you will realize and understand that the route that you're taking is meant for you to take, that the route that you're going is meant for you to go that way. The distraction that is there is meant to distract you. The feeling of anxiety is there because it's meant for you to feel that way. The feeling of frustration is there because it's meant for you to be frustrated. But you have to fight through all of that. You have to fight past the frustration. You have to fight past the distractions. You have to fight past the depression. You have to fight past your mind being confused, and keep pushing, because you have to get there by any means necessary. By any means necessary. I don't know who I'm talking to tonight, but I need for you to realize that your future is waiting on you. Your future is waiting on you. Yes, the past was good. Yes, it was there for a reason. Every bad thing in your past happened for a reason. Every good thing in your past happened for a reason. Every in-between thing in your past happened for a reason. But the reason why it happened, the reason why it brought you this far is to let you know that, hey, if you can make it through that, you can make it through anything. If you can make you can make it through anything. If you can make it through the heartbreak, you can make it through anything. If you can make it through the depressed points in your life, you can make it through anything. If you can make it through the subliminal attacks, you can make it through anything. Why? Because you are at the point in your life where you're not even thinking about, or the things that happened to you before, and even realize it's not phasing you, because you have a route and a future to get to. So you have to be careful. That's right, Wanda. Your future is waiting on you. Your future is waiting on you. Your future is sitting there just saying, okay, here you come. I see him. I see her. Okay, they on their way. Oh, man. Oh, okay, yeah, they dealt with it. Oh, are they going to get up? Okay, all right, they back up. Okay, they're moving again. Okay, oh, man. Another thing happened. Are they going to keep moving? Are they going, oh, he been sitting there for a while. Oh, she's been sitting there for a while. This is your future. Your future has is sitting there waiting on you, saying, "Oh man, like you've been sitting there for a while. You've been dealing with the same thing for a while. Are you going to get up? Are you going to try to fix it? Are you going to try to get up and, like Aaliyah said, get yourself up and dust yourself off and try again? Just get up and keep trying again. As the saying goes, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. So you got to keep forward, because what'll happen is you'll get to that point to where be waiting so long, it'll seem like it's further away. It seems like the goal is the goal that you're trying to get to. It seems like it's taking you so long to achieve it. It's taking years to achieve it. It's even taking you longer than that. You've had a goal and a plan set out for your life, but it seems like the more you do, it seems like the more you face, it seems like the more you triumph, the more you win. It seems like there's another obstacle ahead, because guess what? After every victory, there's another obstacle you have to face. So what we end up doing is we end up relishing on that one victory. We end up relishing on the one win that we have, and we try to, we try to get ready. It's like my father, we watch and talk all the time. That's our thing. That's our bond. We bond over many things, but sports is one of our number one things. And what we realize is that when we watch our team win a championship, when we watch our team win a Super Bowl, we know that they celebrate. The celebration has to happen. You have to get excited, because you feel a certain release and a relief, because you worked so hard to get to that goal. Every sports person, every athlete, their goal is to win a championship. In the Olympics, you want to win the gold medal. In the Stanley, in the hockey, you want to win the Stanley Cup. In tennis, you want to win the Grand Slam. In golf, you want to win the green jacket. In basketball, you want to win the championship. In football, you want to win the Super Bowl. So in baseball, you want to win the World Series. So we get to these places, and we have to go through trial and tribulation. We have to go through game after game after game. We have to go through grueling practices. We have to go through sometimes more practices each day. We have to go through certain workouts and everything. And we put our body, and we put our mind through certain things and certain tests to get to that point. And when you win your championship, when they win that championship, you can see the excitement. They cry. They have all of these emotions. They have all of these things, and then they celebrate the win. After they get the trophy, they celebrate. They have a parade and do all these other things with their family and with the city and with their fans. But then right after that, they take a little break, and they get relaxed. There it is. They get relaxed. They start feeling good about themselves. They want to relish in the win, just like us. We want to relish the win. When we triumph over certain things, we want to relish in the win. But what you have, and you can't stay there too. can't relish too long, because guess what? Every one win has to come to an end. Because guess what? Just because you won that day, there's another day. There's another day ahead of you. And what I come here tonight to remind you that just because you're winning, and just because it's your winning season, like Jacqueline Carr said, it's your winning season. That means, yes, you won today. Today is Monday. Today is your marvelous Monday. You won the victory today. But just know that Tuesday is coming. And so after you take that win, you cherish it, and you realize what you've done, that you have to put that win to the side and get your mind ready for the next day. Because guess what? The next day is coming. The next day is coming at you fast, and it's coming at you swiftly. So you have to be prepared. You have to put your body and your mind in that grueling process again. That means you can't give up. That means you got to keep pushing. That means you got to keep working out. That means you got to keep doing what you did before to get that one win. Because guess what? Every win is harder than the last one was. So you got to this point in your life because every triumph that you had was harder than the one before. And because you've gotten to this point to where you've gotten to a place where you know where you're going, and you realize who you are, you found your identity again, you found who you were again, you found who you need to be again, you picked yourself up, and you were able to look in the mirror and see a better you were able to look in the mirror and see a more focused you. Now you have to get to a place where you put your mind and your body in that grueling process, and you keep pushing, you keep going, you keep fighting, and you keep prevailing, because what you need to understand that your future is better than your past. What you need to understand that your ladder will be greater. What you have to understand, and here it is that your best days are ahead and your worst days are behind you, because the best is yet to come. And if you are looking for your best, if you are looking for your greater, if you are looking to win again, if you are looking to be better than you once were, if you are looking to get past your worst, if you are looking to get past the bad, if you are looking to get past your pain, if you are looking to get past your heartache, if you are looking to get past your soul breaking, then you have to realize that the best days are ahead of you. I need somebody tonight to put that in the comment section, that my best days are ahead of me. My best days are ahead of me. Your best is coming. Your best is coming. Yeah, it's so yeah, what you had was okay. Yeah, what you had was pretty good. But you're about to get blessed with better. What you had was all right, but you're about to get blessed with more. What you had may be enough, but you didn't realize that you can have more than enough. What you had may have been okay, but you didn't realize that you're going to have more than okay, because your better days are coming and your better days are ahead. All you have to do is realize that what you once were is not who you're meant to be. I'm going to say it again. Realize that what you once were, who you once were, is not what and who you're meant to be. So don't get desperate. Don't get desperate, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get desperate. It'll cause you to make a bad decision. And those desperate decisions have the worst outcome. I'm going to say it again. Excuse me. Those desperate decisions have the absolute worst outcome. Now, I know. Listen, I know. I've been there. I've made several desperate decisions. And the outcome that came from that desperate decision felt good. But guess what? It wasn't meant for me. It wasn't meant for my good. It felt good. I liked it at the time. I liked the result of that decision, and it was cool for a minute. But then the end result of that, because guess what? Every decision isn't always ended until you learn your lesson. Every decision isn't ended until you've learned the lesson of what that decision taught you. So don't let your desperate decision destroy your destiny, because who you are meant to be is not who you once were. Because who you once were is somebody that didn't have the future ahead of them and didn't know who they were. But now that you know who you are tonight, you can keep pushing, because what you have are better days, and better days are ahead of you. Listen, that is my time for tonight. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. I greatly appreciate you guys for joining me these past few weeks. I've been loving the comments, the shares, and everything. Continue to like, comment, and share. Continue to follow me on all social media platforms. You can follow me here on Facebook. You can request me on Instagram at reactivatethemoment.com. You can follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Reactivate the Moment. Also, feel free to email me at reactivatethemoment@gmail.com with your questions, comments, concerns, and topics that you would like to discuss. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you at the same time next week, same channel on the WIN Network, where all we do here is win, baby. I'll see you next Monday at 8 p.m. Now, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace out.